production of Mr. Semis, the video that was posted in the issue. And the defense that you posited was that you have no handle on that because it is not free TV. Is that correct, Mr. Chair?
My statement, if I may recall correctly, Mr. Chair, is insofar as violation of the franchise with respect to free TV, whether it's radio or television, we have not violated any transmission procedure.
Mr. Chair, so you're mentioning the procedure to highlight the fact that you have not violated the suspension order, correct?
Yes.
That is the
Suspension in the CDO, Mr. Chair.
Suspension in the CDO. You're talking about you are relying on YouTube to go around the issue of the suspension order. But the question, Mr. Chair, is that when it comes to production, is it not a shared responsibility? Not even shared. It is the responsibility of SMNI under their franchise. Because as you mentioned, there's no separate corporation for production.
Yes.
So whether or not it is aired, I understand, Mr. Chair, honestly, that tama po yung sinasabi niya. Because it's through YouTube, there is no transgression of the cease and desist order. But regarding the sections 4 and 7 on the substance of the production, it is something that has been skirted all day long, Mr. Chair. Kasi kung tinatanong po natin dito, as simply pointed out by the Honorable Dasan, if it wasn't free to air, where would they draw the line? Because apparently, if you take it out, if the efficacy suspends it, wala na po doon. They feel that, and they are still producing photo. They're not airing it, but they're producing the content. That there is no need to draw any line. Because after all, do a crime, they'll just file a case after. I think, Mr. Chair, that is our problem here, that the way by which Suara Soap goes about their business, it really shows impunity. It's a culture of impunity, a culture of walang pakialam, anything goes. So that's why, Mr. Chair, I think, and I hope this persuades my fellow members here, that this is an obligation that we have as members of Congress. Ito na po yung public interest, common good, general welfare portion that is being referred to by the Constitution. That, again, I will cite it again, neither any franchise or right be granted except under the condition that it shall be subject to amendment, alteration, or repeal by Congress when the common good so requires. They are skirting provisions on the NTC. They are focusing only on, they have no more obligations kasi hindi na to on air. They are focusing on YouTube. But yet they still go about doing the same things. Mr. Chair, can we maybe ask the Chief of Operations again? They are aware that since Suara Soap is not a separate corporation, they are bound by sections 4 and 7 of the franchise.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chair. And they also understand that under sections 4 and 7, they have the duty, self-regulated duty actually, to provide balanced programming.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do we now reconcile that responsibility to the public of giving balanced programming, avoiding fake news, avoiding red tagging, with what is being done now? Mr. Chair, may I ask, okay, one more. We mentioned during the last hearing, they mentioned that there is an ethics committee, or what do you call that? What is your grievance committee called? The question is directed to the Chief of Operations.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Ano po yun? Or what is the committee that you have
Ethics
for?
and Grievance.
Ethics and Grievance Committee. So when it is not on free-to-air TV, does it not apply to the producer? Because I remember the other board member mentioned, the member of the board mentioned that whether this is on air no or on YouTube, lahat ng ginagawa nila sa programa would be at the end of the day subject to a report, of which supposedly this Ethics and Grievance Committee would deliberate. Is that correct, Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
And this, despite being on YouTube, should have gone through the Ethics and Grievance Committee. Is that correct, Mr. Chair?
Would definitely go through that after this hearing.
No, after this hearing. Mr. Chair, may I ask my good colleague, the Honorable Manuel, ano ba yung date nung video that they...
January 9, 2024.
January 9. It is now February 7. Bakit ngayon lang po? Isn't it supposed to be the whole purpose of a production report is that the moment that that was produced, it will be reviewed by your committee, subject to action. Bakit ngayon pa lang po? Just because ngayon lang nakita?
Mr. Chairman, we haven't received complaints in regard
Mr. Chair, I think the whole point of the committee is to avoid complaints po, no? That's why you have your production team report on it right after production. Before anyone has seen it, before anyone has been offended, before any crime is committed. Mr. Chair, ang problema po natin ito, dito, most honestly, yung grievance committee seems to be a reactionary one. You might as well call it the Congressional Inquiry Response Committee. Kasi, yun ang nangyayari po, no? They only constituted the committee last hearing after the fact already of the issue on the budget of Congress. And then now, they are going to tell us that the grievance committee will act on it only after it was brought up by Representative Manuel, after the fact of the offense. So, Mr. Chair, this goes back to my point, no, na yung the way by which they handle their business, it's very, hands off. And I think this really goes into the provision of the common good that we should respond to. The other matters, Mr. Chair, I just want to reiterate na po, no? Because this was already mentioned.
Plata nila eh. Hindi katulad sa dadaan mo talaga sa proseso kasi
Pero the way it's explained to us, parang baliktad.
hindi. Kaya ako tinutuloy.
Meron po kayong rules pagdating po sa reporter, pero pa correspondents, pero pagdating sa commentators, wala. Kasi kakasabi na ako kanina ng operations, which tapos binigyan nyo ng 10 days suspension. Bakit yung binigyan 10 days suspension? Wala pa rin siyang hindi pa rin siya cover dun sa manual niya. I mean, it does not make sense. And that's what Congressman Daso was saying earlier. Na, the more you have to be very careful kasi you're now kind of contradicting each other. So, mag-ingat na po tayo dun sa mga, kasi syempre, we would like to discuss this fairly and we're trying to understand how you operate. And the Honorable Timbo, who has attended all the hearings of this committee, has always been fair in her assessment and has always been objective in her questions. So the Honorable Timbo is still have the floor. She's still have any.
Well, actually, Mr. Chair, gusto ko pa sana magtanong dito tungkol sa kanilang code of ethics. Pero sa totoo lang po, walang gana na po, di ba? Kasi, pagpapalusot lang naman po, di ba? Kung ganito yung rule, ang sasabihin lang naman, papalitan lang naman ng tawag dun sa imbis na commentator, imbis na reporter or news anchor na tawagin commentator. Hindi naman pala code of ethics ito, kung hindi cheat code. Huwag na lang po. Thank you na lang po. I will just give to the next. Thank you po, Mr. Chair. Salamat.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sarah Kimbo. The Honorable Tina Panchos, recognized, Pampulacan.
Mr. Chair, makikita po natin na in any company, there's always a chain of
Ano ba talagang gusto nila itanong about Pastor Apollo Kibuloy?
Yung si Pastor Kibuloy, hindi po siya stockholder of record. Hindi rin siya opisyal o ng Suarasog Media Corporation o ng SMNI.
Oh, he's just an honorary chairman. He's not part of the day-to-day operation of SMNI.
Noong 2019 o 2000, ang stockholdings niya sa Suarasog Media Corporation ay 1.5%. Naibenta na po yun. 1.5%.
So liit lang.
Maliit masyado. Katiting masyado ang kanyang stockholdings. Tapos binenta yan. So hindi namin makita anong relevance na siya iimbitahin pa dito, kundi politika ito.
So, how is it like subpoena, tas may threat na contempt, and then warrant of arrest?
Well, galing sa kaliwa. Galing sa kaliwa ang ano na yun,
Ang threat.
ang threat na yun. But nakikita namin walang relasyon si Pastor Kibuloy dito. Hindi ko alam bakit dinidikdik siya dito.
Irrelevant.
Sir, how is it like na kanina yung sa MTRCB pinupunto na dapat daw maban ang SMNI sa social media platforms?
Ang kaso sa MTRCB, dalawang programa lamang. Una,
Yung laban kasama ang bayan and gikan sa masa o Rudy Duterte, former President Duterte. Yung dalawa lang kaso, yung dalawa lang, hindi pa final yun. we are on appeal sa Office of the President, and this time, we will know ano yung talaga stand ni President Bongbong Marcos about SMNI. So nag-appeal tayo. Ibig sabihin, yung decision ng MTRCB is not yet final and executory.
Now, doon sa SMNI, kaming dalawa, may programa rin kami. Siya ang Pinoy.
Pinoy Legal Minds.
Ako, itanong mo kay Panyero, bakit kami apektado?
Oo.
Dalawang programa naman.
Tapos
Bakit kami
yung
apektado?
kaso namin, well, hindi naman kasama sa kaso. We're just giving free legal advice online. It's purely for public service. But I don't know bakit ayaw talaga nila sa SMNI. Baka may natatakot sila sa magbibigay ng information ng SMNI. Of course, hindi natin pwede sabihin na dito sa Congress kasi may threat na to cite us in contempt na I don't know kung may basihan ba sila. Like for example, sinabi ko yung franchise. Franchise, pag nag-grant na, is already a property right protected under the due process clause of the Constitution. Dami nila sinasabi na may right daw sila. You have the right to give, you also have the right to amend. But I do not believe in that argument kasi nakalagay po sa ating saligang batas, nakalagay po sa ating Constitution na pag ang prangkisa, binigay na 25 years, ibig sabihin, during the 25 years, hindi po pwedeng tanggalin yan without compliance of the due process clause ng ating saligang batas.
Ito marami ng tanong nito Sino bang takot sa SMNI na dapat bubusalan natin ang SMNI?
Sir, as a franchise expert for how many years, may na-feel po ba kayong pressure in the later part of the hearing?
Opo.
Yung sinasabi na dapat mag-endorse ang MTRCB ng move, urging the NTC to suspend SMNI on all platforms. And then, here we go, MTRCB sinabi na kung gagawa kami ng decision, it would be final or recommendatory, pero sa dulo sinabi, they will amend their charter.
Lahat na attempts dito para busalan ng SMNI, lahat dito ini-explore. No? Tinanggalan na nga, binusalan na nga dahil sa order ng NTC na binigyan ng pagbubusal ng indefinite period ang SMNI. Tapos, siyempre hindi kasama doon yung online platforms. Hinahabol pa doon So hindi ko alam, ang katanungan ko sino bang takot sa SMNI?
No, tapos, if you read sa yung site ko na batas, of course, pinahirapan tayo. Gusto na details by details i-explain. Of course, hindi ko ma-explain lahat doon kasi we are talking of a 100-page decision. Sabi nga doon na pag prangkisa na approve na, kailangan co-warrant of proceeding sa Supreme Court. Ibig sabihin, kailangan may notice, may hearing. Hindi naman notice at hearing dito sa Congress. Ang Congress, ang investigation dito is only in aid of legislation. Hindi sila fiscal, hindi sila korte, hindi sila trial of to gather evidence. Kung hindi, mag-imbestiga lang sila based on kung gagawa sila ng batas. But granting na gagawa sila ng batas, kailangan yung batas na yan hindi ma-violate yung due process clause. Ano yung due process clause? Kailangan fair, kailangan consistent with justice, kailangan hindi arbitrary. Yung ginagawa nila arbitrary, yung ginagawa nila is unconstitutional. And I'm sure kung we will study a case kasi yung ginagawa nila out of jurisdiction. Kasi wala silang jurisdiction kasi pag itong kaso, pag pangkisa, granted na ng Congress, ang may jurisprudence or may jurisdiction is ng Supreme Court through a co-warrant of proceeding.
Pero kami po ay naniniwala pa rin sa ilalim ng butihing chairman, si Honorable Gastang Bunting. Magkakaroon po tayo ng hustisya dito.
Well, sir, isa din sa mga natanong ng reasons bakit dapat hindi ma-revoke.
First, bakit hindi ma-revoke ang SMNI? Kailangan kasi mag-present sila ng ebidensya. Ang tanong, sino ba mag-present ng ebidensya? Korte ba ito? Hindi ito korte. Hindi. Congress ito, mag-conduct ng investigation para gagawa ng batas. Hindi sila mag-astang fiskal, mag-astang puwis. Kasi wala silang jurisdiction na gagawin yan.
At isa din po sa mga pinunto yung sa disclaimer. Dapat
Yung disclaimer,
yung mga commentator doon.
first, practice yan sa lahat ng mga media establishment. Kung ayaw nila ng disclaimer, gagawa sila ng batas na illegal ang disclaimer. In this case, may batas ba na nagbabawal ng disclaimer? Wala. So it means, kung walang batas na nagbawal ng disclaimer, legal ang disclaimer. Practice nga yan, hindi lang ng SMNI. Lahat ng media establishment, practice ang disclaimer.
Okay. Thank you.
Vamos yan,